Dr. Amber, we posted a short clip of a dog chasing its tail and it just exploded. Over 197,000 views. Apparently, the internet cannot get enough of dogs spinning in circles.
I mean, it's funny, right? But here's the interesting part. Sometimes tail chasing is harmless and playful, and sometimes it's actually your dog trying to tell you something is wrong.
Oh my God, wait. So that cute little spin could actually be a health signal? I hope not.
Exactly. Not just that, also zoomies and a lot more.
Welcome to Unleash Curiosity by Vital Pet Life.
I'm Dr. Amber De Silva, veterinarian and advocate for integrative pet care.
And I'm Donie Yamamoto, founder and CEO of Vital Pet Life. We're so glad you're here.
This is a space where curiosity, compassion, and science converge, where we explore the powerful mind-body connection that supports your pet's health and your own.
Each week, we'll dive deep into the world of pet wellness, breaking down myths, exploring ingredients, and learning from expert voices across the industry.
From nutrition and sustainability to transparency and advocacy, we're here to help you feel more confident, connected, and informed in your care choices.
Let's get into it, because when we know better, we do better. This is Unleashed Curiosity.
Welcome back to Unleashed Curiosity by Vital Pet Life. Today, Donie and I will be breaking down the top 10 dog behaviors that every pet parent should be aware of.
So, Dr. Amber, let's start with the 10 dog behaviors. Number 1, tail chasing. Can we discuss the following? Why dogs chase their tails? What's the reason behind it? Is there any, as you said, like it shouldn't just be cute at all, or like there might be some issues behind it too? So,
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's get into it. It can definitely be just fun and play, especially in puppies and young dogs or high energy breeds. Their tails, like dogs start to notice their tails and they're kind of like, what is this thing? And I've seen, puppies chase their tails, chew on their tails. They'll play like they don't see it. And then, they wag and they see it and they jump. And so a lot of it is just, play and curiosity and energy. But there can be some medical triggers. So if they're itchy, like if they have fleas or allergies, or even some intestinal parasites, because some parasites will actually come out of the rectum. Yeah. And so it makes their bums really itchy. And so they'll chase their bums or their tails because of those things. And then sometimes if they have an injury on their tail, maybe they've gotten a scratch or they got it caught on something or, slammed in a door or whatever, they can chase because of injury or pain or irritation. And then sometimes it's an anal gland issue. More often with anal glands, you'll see licking or scooting, but sometimes they can like chase around because it's so irritating. And then some dogs can have a neurologic condition where they don't have like full feeling in their tails. So their tails kind of feel numb or tingly and it's just really irritating. Yeah. So sometimes it can be totally innocent and playful. And sometimes there's some medical reasons why they can chase their tails.
What about the behavior triggers, Dr. Amber?
Yeah. So sometimes it's like an OCD type thing where it can be like anxiety where they get stuck in this behavior over and over and over. And they can also respond to us responding to them. So if you give them like positive reinforcement when they've done this, when they start chasing their tails, they can see that it makes you happy and they get this positive reinforcement. So they keep doing it. So we can actually reinforce some bad behaviors or behaviors that aren't constructive by our responses to them.
So when is cute no longer cute? When should I be scared and worried when they're doing that?
Yeah, I think if it's excessive, if it happens every once in a while and your dog snaps out of it, or you can distract the dog from it and they kind of go about their business, it's probably less of a concern. But if it's like they're doing it nonstop, they don't stop with commands or with distraction, then all of those reasons, I might consult with your veterinarian to figure out if there's any kind of medical problems and then look for behavioral causes and maybe a trainer who is experienced in behavioral problems.
Okay, another behavior that we like and sometimes we don't like. Why do dogs lick you?
So mostly it's for there's 3 reasons. Your dog licks you for 3 reasons. One of them is weird. So we're talking about affection, attention, and taste.
You want to taste?
So some dogs, yeah. So if you're really salty, you might taste better,
No.
and your dogs like to lick you because of that. Um, and some dogs show affection by licking, and so they can do that. They can lick you because they love you. And then other times it's to get attention. And again, we talked about reinforcing behavior. If your dog licks you and then Fluffy, you're so cute, and you kind of pet, like you're reinforcing that behavior. So they may do it even more.
That's funny. Okay, zoomies. I like zoomies. It just makes me so happy when I see the guys doing zoomies after a meal or after they do number two. Sometimes maybe they're just happy.
Yeah.
So what are those
Yeah. It's so
random
cute.
bursts of energy?
Yeah. Yeah. So sometimes they've had a boring day or they've been sleeping a lot and they get up and they just have this burst of energy they need to get out. And so they'll zoom around and burn off some energy. Sometimes after baths or walks, or I've seen my dog used to do it after she got groomed. I don't know if she just thought she was the cutest dog in the world, but she would do zoomies. So sometimes it's after like these events that they're excited or over maybe and they zoom around and then just for excitement or stress or whatever, like they get all this hyper energy from stress or excitement, and then they have to run around and burn that off. And again, like we can reinforce that behavior when we positively respond to them. They're like, oh, my human loves this, so I'm going to keep doing it.
Oh, jeez.
And it is fun. It's so cute and so fun to watch.
Yeah. Well, number four, like, this is
So
kind of spooky. Like, I don't like it when they do that, especially at night and when I'm alone with them, barking at nothing. And I'm like, oh no, what did you guys see?
yeah. Yeah. So it can be kind of creepy. You're like, what the heck do you see that I don't see? But I think, dogs, their senses are so much they're more
Heightened.
sensitive. How can I say that? Senses are more sensitive, but they just have more awareness. So they have better eyesight, they have better hearing, they have better smell, and so they can pick up on stuff that we don't even know is there. The other thing is that some dogs are just really alert to their territory. They're always looking for danger. They're protective. And so they're always looking for something that could be invading their territory. And then sometimes it's just anxiety or boredom. They're scared of a lot of things. They can have a lot of triggers. They can be bored and, just bark for some kind of stimulation, like mental stimulation.
Yeah.
So
Talking
yeah,
about
kind of interesting.
talking about heightened sensory awareness, like I just learned that because there's Martin has like a little pockets, like he doesn't have the full, like there's a little pocket in his ears. Apparently, it's called
Uh-huh.
Henry pocket, and it's for high pitch. And we've been testing that on him. Like Kyle's gonna do like call him like in the normal voice, and he doesn't even care. But if I try to do my high pitch voice, calling his name, he will just run off and like jump off, and it's really funny.
Yeah.
I know he's like, "I'm you're so special."
Yeah, my husband does this high pitched whistle that like drives dogs crazy. He'll just like, I can't do it, but he'll start doing it. And then dogs are like, what is that? And turn their ears
I
just
feel
like,
like
oh my gosh.
Martin is so special. He's got the Henry's pocket in his ears, and then he still has his dew claw, extra dew claw. So he's our super dog.
Yeah.
Okay, I like this one. Bringing like number five, bringing random objects to you. I think this is like mix of play and again like attention. I think or yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. I think they can find treasures and just bring it to you like, hey mom, look what I found, and trying
that's
to
so
seek
cute.
attention.
Yeah,
And sometimes it's just curiosity. They'll find something that they're like, what is this? And they'll kind of carry it around and drop it at your feet. So yeah, that's pretty silly. Have you ever had one of your dogs bring you something weird or
nasty.
different?
Yeah, my dog overseas. Like one time I was like packing and the next thing I saw like she got me a dead rat. And I'm like so that was a
Oh,
it wasn't fun because it ended up in a trip to the vet for her to puke whatever because I wasn't really sure if she ate something. Cause
yeah. Oh my gosh.
I don't know where she got it. But I'm like, ee.
That's crazy.
I
Wow.
know.
I
But
had a
yeah,
cat bring me a mouse, drop it on my toes when I was younger, when I still
yeah.
lived at home. Yeah,
Still
but that
terrifies
or
me.
that mouse was alive. Yeah.
It's that was mine was dead. Like I don't even know where she got it. But yeah, it ended up on we ended up on going to the vet. That was the first time I've seen like, being forced to puke. And then I don't know,
Yeah.
like the vet was like, "Well, there's nothing in there. I see a lot of rocks." And I'm like, "Oh, what was she eat?"
Wow. Yeah.
Sometimes they
Crazy.
wander around the house or outside and I don't know what they see or find.
Yeah.
You're always curious. Okay, number 6, the guilty look. I feel that all the time. I feel like every time I'm like doing something and I know it's time for like meal time, like time for like walking outside and I'm still doing like maybe it's just a little bit of 15 to 30 minutes, like extending the time and they stare at you. Like I feel so bad.
Yeah. Yeah. Your dog isn't guilty. They're reading you. So I don't know that dogs actually can't have the capacity to feel guilt, but I think that they, especially a well-trained dog, like they know what you've trained them to do and what you've trained them not to do. And so I think that they're looking for your reaction
Yeah.
more than like feeling, "Oh, I feel so bad I did this." It's more like, "I'm gonna get in trouble." I think it's a subtle difference, but yeah, they're looking for your reaction.
Yeah. Dr. Amber, why dogs follow you everywhere around wherever you are? Like I feel like I know that they are our shadow.
Yeah. I mean, most dogs are just social animals. They're pack animals. So part of it is just like staying with their pack, some of that social bonding instinct that they have. And that extends to humans that they love. Some dogs can have separation anxiety, so they just don't want to let you out of their sight because they have this anxiety about it. And then just like attention seeking behavior. And again, we can kind of reinforce that if we're, calling them to follow us or just giving them positive reinforcement when they're doing that. Then they're like, oh, I get more pets or I get more attention. And so that'll reinforce that behavior.
Also, I learned about this, like, when relating to separation anxiety, like, I think this is where you calm their nervous system, like, especially for dogs that are rescued and that you just adopted. Like I think this what we discuss on about energy and making them feel that they're safe comes
Hmm.
in. Yeah, and I think we have a lot
Yeah.
of like a lot of episodes about that. Like so I think that's how they follow you around. They're the human. Yeah.
Yep.
They
Yep.
feel safe around you.
Yeah.
Okay, so number 8. Why dogs tilt their head, Dr. Amber?
Well, my dog does it when she hears words like, "Do you want to eat? Do you need to go potty?" Like, certain words that they know.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll just like, "Oh, you said that word." So it can be like they're processing what you're communicating to them.
Mm-hmm.
And they're trying to interpret the sound or the direction. Sometimes it'll be like they hear something in the distance and then kind of they're tilting their head toward it to try to figure out where it's coming from or what it is. And then like engaging with you in a social aspect, they'll just be like, "Oh, you're talking to me. My human's talking to me." I think it's so cute. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Your dog tilts their head to understand you.
It's like people when you want to listen. Okay. What about sleeping position? I've seen a lot of like reasons to, why they sleep next to you. Like so can you tell us like a little bit of you know, what do you think about like different kinds of sleeping positions next to us?
Yeah. So some dogs will sleep like on their backs with their bellies up. When they have their belly up, that's a really vulnerable position. So they're not going to get into a position like that unless they trust you. So that is showing that they trust you. Being curled up is sometimes for protection or maybe even like keeping in heat if they're chilly. They want to just make their bodies as small as possible. And then if they're all stretched out, that's just like they're really relaxed. They're very comfortable.
Okay, this one is the funniest because we have our little guy Martin does this before anything he does in bed, in the couch, spinning before lying down or like resting. Why is that?
Yeah. Um, so some of it is to make sure that they have like a comfortable place to lay. So they're going to turn and turn and kind of stomp on their bed and make sure that it's to their liking. Sometimes it's to assess the kind of scent or to leave their scent in that area. Um, dogs kind of have scent glands like all over in different areas of their bodies. And so they're kind of like spreading their own scent and then making sure that there's maybe no sense of other, and especially in the wild, like if you have a wild dog who senses the presence of another animal, they might either avoid that or remark it, their own territory. So those are a couple of reasons why they can do that.
Yeah, we Martin does that a lot. Like he spins and before resting, and I'm like, we have to like, how many times you have to spin to decide where you're gonna?
It's like, I know it's so funny because it's like you lay in the same spots. Like they usually, they pick different spots that they like to lay in. And it's like you're very familiar with these spots. You don't have to like make it cozy every single time, but they still do.
I know. Seems like they're trying to, and sometimes they also dig, right? Like they dig.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. My mom's dog would like kind of dig up his blankies and dig, dig, dig and circle, circle, dig, 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 dig until it was to his satisfaction. And then he'd finally lay down.
I know. That's so funny. All right. Well, thank you, Dr. Amber, for making us understand our dogs way better than what we think of just by looking at their behaviors. Well, thanks for tuning in. This is Donie Yamamoto, your fellow pet parent, reminding you that every behavior is a message and every moment with your pet is a chance to understand them a little more.
That's right. Behavior is one of the ways that dogs communicate with us. And when we understand those signals, we can make better decisions for their health and well being. This is Dr. Amber De Silva, your team veterinarian.
And if you enjoy this episode, make sure to follow the podcast so you don't miss future conversations about pet health, longevity, and science-backed care. You can listen on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. Just search Unleash Curiosity by Vital Pet Life.
And if you have a question that you'd like us to answer in a future episode, send them to podcast@vitalpetlife.com. Thanks for joining us and give your pets an extra scratch today. They deserve it. See you in the next episode.